Dark Scary Screen Story YouTube script prompt. Welcome to Midnight Dark. I'm your host Khalid, and today I'm going to tell you a story that will make you never look at your computer screen the same way again. Immediate highlights. Teaser: a programmer discovers something horrifying hidden in his code. Mysterious messages start appearing on his screen at 3:33 a.m. What he finds in the dark web changes everything. By the end, he realizes he's not alone. And never was. The Midnight Coder. The isolation. Marcus was a freelance programmer who worked the night shift. His apartment was always dark, illuminated only by the cold blue glow of his multiple monitors. He preferred the darkness. IT helped him focus, he said. But darkness has a way of focusing on you too. For weeks, he had been working on a complex database project for a client he'd never met. The payments came through cryptocurrency, the emails were always brief, and the requirements were unusual. The first anomaly: it started with small glitches. Lines of code would appear that he didn't write. At first, he thought it was autocomplete, or maybe he was more tired than he realized. But the code was sophisticated, too sophisticated to be random. The mysterious code seemed to be trying to access his webcam, his microphone, even his location data. When he deleted it, IT would reappear the next night, always at exactly 3:33 a.m. Escalation: the messages. Then came the messages. Not in his email or chat apps, but embedded directly into his code as comments: / you're doing good work. Marcus // I've been watching your progress / don't stop now. We're so close. His blood turned to ice. He had never mentioned his name in any communications with this client. He lived alone, worked alone, and had told no one about this project. The deep dive: Marcus decided to investigate. Using his skills, he traced the mysterious code back to its source. The trail led him deep into the dark web, to servers that shouldn't exist and databases that were supposedly destroyed years ago. What he found made his stomach turn. The database he was building wasn't for business. It was a collection of personal information, private photos, intimate details of thousands of people. And at the center of it all was a folder with his own name. The revelation: inside the folder were photos of him. Photos taken from inside his apartment. Photos of him sleeping, eating, working. Some were taken from angles that should have been impossible, as if the camera was floating in the air, watching him from all directions. The timestamps went back months, long before he had started this project. And there were notes. Subject: shows excellent technical skills. Isolation makes him perfect for long-term observation. He suspects nothing. The trap closes. Marcus realized with growing horror that he wasn't building a database for a client, he was building his own prison. Every line of code he wrote gave them more access to his life, his devices, his very existence. He tried to shut down his computer, but the screen wouldn't turn off. Tried to unplug it, but the power wouldn't die. The screen flickered, and new text appeared: you can't leave now, Marcus. You're part of the system. The final twist: as Marcus stared at the screen in terror, he noticed something that made his heart stop. In the reflection of his monitor, he could see his apartment behind him. But there was something wrong with the reflection. There were figures standing in his room. Tall, thin shadows that didn't belong. They had been there all along, watching, waiting. When he spun around, the room was empty. But the reflection showed the truth. The screen displayed one final message: welcome to the collective, Marcus. You've been recruited. His fingers began typing on their own, coding instructions he didn't understand, building systems he didn't want to create. He was no longer the programmer. He had become the program. So tell me in the comments, have you ever noticed strange things happening with your devices? Maybe code appearing that you didn't write, or your camera light turning on by itself. What's the most terrifying tech experience you've ever had? And remember, the next time you're working alone in the dark with just your screen for company, check your reflection. You might not be as alone as you think. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button, Subscribe for more spine-tingling tales, and drop a comment with your own scary screen stories. Until next time, keep your lights on.